It was Cincinnati hosting Buffalo, which was the same matchup in the same location as last season when we had, I don't know what to call it. I feel like it's somewhat trite to call it the Damar Hamlin incident, but it was what happened with Damar Hamlin. And there was a lot of buildup in the production for this game. A lot of discussion about the EMTs, the first responders, and how important they were to saving Hamlin's life and all of that. We had lots of shots of Damar Hamlin. We had people in the crowd with their Damar Hamlin signs, and I understand in large part why for this game you kind of would need to do it. I do. Like we need to give some attention to what happened. However, after having seen the way that it went, I would say that I have a suggestion from here on out for what we do with Damar Hamlin. How about we just act like that never happened? Am I the only person that feels that way? I know I'm not the only person that feels that way. And you know how I know I'm not the only person that feels that way? Because it doesn't make you want to watch a football game after talking about how you thought you saw a man die. Because I can't speak for nobody else, but I know that when that happened with Hamlin and the ambulance was rolling out of there with no lights and it didn't seem like they were really moving with that much urgency. Obviously they were, but it didn't look like it. I called Dominique and I said, hey, bro, did we just watch a man die on the field? Like football players, the thing that they said almost to a man that was the most shocking about the thing that happened with Hamlin was they had never considered they could die in a football game. They knew maybe you could get paralyzed and all these other terrible outcomes, but not a single one of them had ever considered the possibility that you could die. It was one of the most awkward and honestly like terrifying and unsettling moments that I can ever think of in watching a sporting event. And you know that it was terrifying and unsettling because they actually canceled the end of the game, which we've seen people paralyzed before and they just keep on going. That game don't stop for nobody. And they had to stop that because everybody was like, yo, what's really hood? Like there was nothing to be done for that. Now, the problem is because of the way the NFL sees itself, and I think in a lot of ways, the way that we talk about promoting I think it's more market sports than anything else, because I do recognize in this larger way that the role of sport in society is value promotion and all these things. But now that everything has to be made into a television show, the NFL has to stand in every way for all that's good. And what they're trying to do is to turn what happened with Damar Hamlin into a story of inspiration. There is nothing inspiring about what happened. If there's an inspiration, it is, the first responders and their ability to save somebody's life under those circumstances. Hearing about Damar Hamlin, all that does is make me sit there and question, why exactly am I doing this again? Like, what am I watching this for? Like, that's the place that it takes me when that goes. It's like, I don't, guys, I don't know if we really need to be doing this. But the belief in this game and the way that people look at it is so powerful that they got to believe that they can make it into something good. They got to believe that they can use football to tell a story of heroism, but in the most over-the-top way. So it's all this big music and the voices that you come up with and everything else. And they're showing you Damar Hamlin on the sideline for all of these games. And I mean, I'll be honest, man, it's been almost a year since this happened, and I haven't really reconciled where I am on it and how I feel about it. And you just keep showing me this. And I'm like, guys, no. We'd all be better off acting like it didn't happen. Like, Sean, we got this clip of a reporter in Cincinnati took of Hamlin after the game. And he comes out on midfield and he's kneeling at the spot where he was that day, where he went into cardiac arrest. And he's just there and he's quiet and he's silent. And it's actually very touching by itself when you think about it. But man, I wonder like what is or was in his mind as he's doing that, because what we've done, I mean, he's become a mascot of sorts, but I don't know like really how to feel about that because I know he wants to play football again. I don't even necessarily know just how much football had to do with what happened, right? Like this isn't like a Darryl Stingley situation or Mike Utley or something like that where you see somebody get paralyzed. I admit that this is a little different. And so I don't want to, I don't want to seem like one of those football is evil kind of people and just put it all on the sport itself. I'm not willing to go there. I'm just telling you, while watching the game, it did make you stop and ask yourself, why am I sitting here watching the game? And the NFL, rather than just do what they normally do when things are uncomfortable, act like it's not going on. They want to revel in this one. And I'm just telling you, this can't be a good play. I'm not the most delicate flower out here. So if I'm the person that's watching this and feeling this way, I'm sure there are other people who do too. And it does not make me feel good. I know that was Sunday night, not Monday, but it does not make me ready for some football. It does not get me in the spirit, guys. It doesn't. It just feels for me instead is just being kind of cynical. And I'm curious, Bo, that way.
Do you prefer if they completely ignored it? Obviously, like this game was a big one, but yeah, right. It's almost better that way.
Yeah, I mean, talk about it. Why? That's my only question. If nobody told you Damar Hamlin was on the sideline, what does it change? And so I'm not saying like the dude shouldn't be around or nothing like that. No, I'm just asking, what is the purpose of continuing to make this a story? There are no changes in it. All that happens is every week he's on the sideline and we're like, boy, it's sure great that he's on the sideline. But I'm just telling you, it doesn't make me feel good. And it ain't because there's something wrong with me.